She's a master of conversion and optimization, all the way from Israel, Talia Wolf.
I'm so happy I have a new name, Talia. Hi. So I'm Talia Wolf, and I'm here to tell you that CRO and optimization is simple. It is easy, right? There's a 3-step process, super easy, pay attention, okay? First, find the leak in the funnel, create a new variation, and test it. Right? Simple. If you could do that, you can do everything, right? We're all like, hey, we need to increase conversions, let's do this. Okay, find the leak in the funnel. I'll go into Google Analytics or GA4, which is a mess, and try and figure out where the problem is. So maybe it's your home page, maybe it's your donation page. It could be many different places, but it's kind of easy to find, right? And then launching an experiment is also okay, because you can get a developer. If you have the right tools, you can, launch an experiment pretty easily. But creating a new variation, that is the enigma, right? The black box of optimization. How do you know what changes to make on your website that will actually increase conversions? No one actually knows what to do. So here's what we do when we're like sitting in our room and we're like, we need more conversions, we need more donations, we need people to take more action, we need more sales. We sit in a room and we're like, okay, best practices. Let's read all the blog posts. Let's copy our competitors. And don't lie, everyone does that. Let's copy our competitors. Let's ask the neighbor's cat. I don't know, we just guess. It's all guessing. And because we're guessing, what happens is we all test the same rubbish, right? We test reducing load time because maybe that will help. Maybe adding an exit pop-up will make a big change, or changing the color of a call to action from blue to red. Wow. Or we remove some steps in the funnel, or we change a headline or the hero image, and we're like, yes, this is going to be amazing. It's not. We're just changing elements on the page and expecting some amazing growth, some amazing change, and nothing happens. And the reason this is happening is because we're essentially taking one page, we're duplicating it the exact same, and we're changing one element on the page. But conversion optimization isn't about changing elements on the page. It's not. Let me tell you the truth. Conversion optimization is about solving people's problems. That is the truth. And I'm not talking about technical problems. I'm talking about real life problems, their challenges, their pains, the things that are waking them up at night. If you can solve those, you will get more conversions. You will get more people to take action because that's what they care about. Here's what you don't need. We don't need more graphs. We don't need more spreadsheets. We don't need to be data-driven. It drives me nuts. If I asked you today who you're selling to, who you're trying to get donations from, who your prospects are, I'm sure that all of you can tell me their age, their geographical location, their gender, maybe the browsers, maybe their devices. We have crammed people into segments. We feel comfortable with that because then we can look at heat maps and data and whatever and say, I know who I'm selling to. But we're not selling to robots, and we're not selling to machines, and they're definitely not cash machines. They're people. And if you really, really want to increase conversions, if you really want to drive more sales or increase donations on your website, what you need to do is understand why. Why people buy from you? Why should people choose you? And to understand that, you need to understand how people make decisions. How do we make decisions in life? Well, most of us think it's this. We go for some elaborate process of thinking about the pros and the cons, and at some point I will reach a rational decision if I should buy that necklace, if I should donate on this website, or if I should change my software from whatever, MailChimp to Drip. I will reach a rational decision. But psychologists, neuroscientists, and the biggest brands in the world, like Nike and Lego know that this is not how people make decisions in life. This is. Every single decision that we make in life is based on emotion, whether we want to admit it or not. Now, most of you are probably sitting right here and saying, Talia, we're a nonprofit, we know this. We use emotion all the time. Of course emotion matters. But do you really use emotion? Because when I talk about emotion, you might be thinking about this. We have a great hero image, and it will make you feel sad, or it will make you feel happy. I'm not talking about this. I'm not talking about making people feel a certain way or making them feel in ways that they don't want to feel. I'm actually talking about emotional resonance. Emotional resonance is a framework that my team and I have built over the past decade that will help companies and nonprofits understand the real why people buy from them, so that we can create better experience for them so that they achieve their goals and we achieve our own. When I talk about emotional resonance, I don't mean triggering emotions. I'm not talking about manipulation. I'm not talking about dark patterns. I'm talking about meeting people where they already are. I'm talking about resonating. I'm talking about connection. I'm talking about converting people in a way where we are creating messages and experiences that people want to convert to. And that is actually what I'm going to be doing with you today. I'm going to be teaching you this step-by-step process for using emotional resonance, not just in your hero image on your homepage, but throughout your entire customer journey, so that when someone comes to your website, they are convinced that you are going to help them achieve what they are trying to achieve, because it's not about you, right? Okay, so let's get started. Step number one is uncovering your prospect's emotions and motivations. This is the holy grail of the whole framework. You cannot skip this step. You cannot rush to the next step, which is much cooler. You need to do this first, okay? Now, one of the first questions that I get whenever I talk about emotions is, okay, I get it, but what are the most common emotions that impact buying decisions? Like, just tell us already so that we can get on with this. And I can tell you that through the years, we've identified 223 different emotional triggers. That's a lot. But there are two critical clusters of emotions. And I would say that if you focus on these two, you're more or less going to be in the right. So if you actually understand these two, you'll probably understand why people buy from you, donate on your website, or how you can convince them to take action. So cluster number one is self-image. When I buy something, I want to feel good about myself. How do I want to feel? I want to feel confident. I want to feel meaningful. I want to feel important. I want to feel effective. I want to be happy. I want to feel joy. That is self-image. Almost all purchases, and I deal a lot with tech, so I'm talking about actual software, CRM, account management, whatever. It's triggered by self-image. The other cluster of emotions is social image. And social image is, how do I want other people to think about me after I've taken action? I want to feel valued. I want them to respect me. I want them to think that I'm the go-to person in the office for whatever. I want them to see how altruistic I am and I'm meaningful and that they should trust me. There's all sorts of different emotions that affect us when we're taking action. And we all know this because we're all human, hopefully, and there's no AI bots in here after all these conversations. But we all feel this, okay? We all know that when we're buying something, we're not just buying it for the sake of buying. We don't buy products, we buy better versions of ourselves. And we do that when we donate, and we do that when we're purchasing software, believe it or not, and we do it when we're buying a necklace. Any type of action that you take. So these emotions are critical for when you are thinking about your website, about your emails, about your funnel, your donation pages. These are all super critical. Now, how do you uncover actual meaningful research about your customers? Well, there's a few different things. One is you want to identify their stage of awareness. Newsflash, not everyone is ready to donate. They might come to your website now, or they might have seen an ad, or they might see something on TikTok, and then 3 months later, they will be ready because they'll see something else. So you need to understand where people are in the buyer journey before you start marketing to them, because you might be saying the wrong thing to the right people at the wrong time. Meaning, you're coming at them with all these requests, and they're not ready to buy, and they're not ready to donate or to take action, and you're losing them. But if you actually used the right call to action at that time, you could have won them over. So you need to identify their stage of awareness. You need to conduct meaningful surveys and interviews. And I'm not talking about the redundant questions of like, what almost made you not convert with us today? Or what do you think of our website? Real conversations about who they are, why they're buying, why they're taking action. You also need to do social listening. You need to be in all these social groups on Facebook and on Reddit and on LinkedIn, figuring out what people are talking about, what they care about. And you also need to be doing review mining. Now, I want to tell you that I didn't put in how to do any of these today, because if you go back to NIO's website and you watch last year's presentation, Else and Joanna spoke extensively about each and every one of these, and you could learn exactly how to do them. So this is imperative research you should be doing. And here's why. Because once you do this, you'll be able to answer very important questions. We talked about the information that you already have. You know the gender, probably. You know geographical location. Maybe you know their job title. Maybe you know their browser and the device that they're using. That's nice to have. Here is the most critical information you have to know about your prospects. Number one, the top challenges and pains that people feel right now before taking action. You need to know the main concerns preventing people from taking action. The top emotional outcomes your donators and the people in your prospects desire. What do they want to feel? And the words and the stories that they care about, that they use to describe you. And I want to tell you that if you know the answers to these questions, there won't be one page on your website that you won't know how to fix. Because you'll be going to your website and you'll look at your homepage or you'll look at your donation page and you'll go, damn it, we've been saying all this stuff no one cares about. This is what people care about. This is the most important information you should have about donors and about anyone you're trying to move into action on your website. It is critical. And most companies don't know this. Just don't. They have no idea. But if you know this, you'll have an advantage over every single one in this room. Okay. So now you have to do step number 2. We've done our research, we figured it out, we understand our customers a little better. Now, let's audit our website. And this is an interesting concept because most companies and most people you'll go to and you'll say, look, I really need to increase conversions. They'll say, let me just take a look at your website and I'll tell you, based on best practices, what makes sense. Or I'll tell you, I've got a lot of experience, so I can tell you, don't use carousels, your call to action is below the fold, and they'll give you a bunch of things that make sense technically. But in this framework, what you want to do is the research first so that you can later audit, because you want to be auditing your website from an emotional resonance lens. And you want to do that because it makes optimization so much better. Now you have the knowledge. It's not best practices, it's not guesswork, it's not copying your competitors, you're not basing it on someone's expertise, you're basing it on a real understanding of who your customers are. So when you're auditing your funnel, you're not thinking about it technically, you're auditing it from a strategical lens, okay? Can people immediately see the why and what's in it for them? Are you incorporating the emotional outcomes prospects care about? Are you using words and descriptions prospects relate to? What aren't you saying that people need to see and read? When was the last time you asked yourself these questions? Most of us go on the website and we'll ask ourselves, oh, I see, our call to action button is red. Everyone says blue works better because blue is trust. No, we need to base everything that we do on our website on our customers, on our prospects. So you want to be asking yourself these questions in order to get a better understanding of how to speak to your prospects and your website visitors. There's an entire audit that you can download for free and get, and there's like a billion questions to ask yourself from a UX, CRO, and strategic lens. You can download it from there. Okay, so I want to tell you a story about this very boring product. Emotion, when I talk about emotional resonance, everyone says, yes, I get it. I get it. Of course, when you're buying a top or you're buying, necklace, that makes a lot of sense. But in B2B, that makes no sense. Well, this is a company that does identity orchestration, which I will not attempt to explain. But even in this world that is supposed to be super boring, and it's, some IT person or some cybersecurity person at a company sitting there trying to figure out what identity orchestration software they should be using, there's emotion. So this was the original website. We created this, make modern identity work everywhere, and it's all about the identity hero. We took the conversation away from the features, the pricing, the product, or away from me, to here's what you're going to achieve, here's how you're going to feel, here's everything that you're going to get out of using this product, which makes it a lot more interesting and clearly shows people the why. Because it's not about the company, it's not about the software anymore, it's about them and how they can become the identity hero in their company. So you can do this across any single industry and any product. Okay, we've done our research. We have audited our website. We can clearly see there's a lot for us to do. Let's talk about how do we actually implement emotion into what we're doing, okay, into our copy and into our design. So what we want to do is add emotion into our messaging. Number one, we want to make it about them. That sounds weird in nonprofit, but it's not about what you're trying to raise donations for. It's about them, and it's confusing, but it's important. And we've done a lot of critical work with nonprofits where we've taken the conversation away from how you're doing stuff to what they're going to be doing, how they're going to have this amazing impact on life, on the world, in any way that they can donate. You want to highlight what they care about. You want to tell the stories and use the words they care about. You want to make sure your messaging is connected to their stage of awareness, and you want to incorporate trust in everything that you write. And I want to show you some examples. So, social and self-image should be included in every part of your message and not just your headlines. So when you're looking at over here on this website, they're saying, hey, be among a group of passionate business and community leaders who are leading the way to create more. Network and collaborate with diverse groups of influential businesses and community leaders. Or your gift makes a difference in the lives of children and families. How many of us are actually using this type of copy and messaging in everything that we do? Most of us stick to the headline or an ad, but this should be incorporated in everything. It should be in how you're getting people to donate. Here are just a few incredible ways you've made an impact in 2023. Not what we've done, thanks to your donation we have achieved, versus here's what you've done. This is what you are accountable for. Thank you so much for helping this happen. There's a big difference in the way we're using words right now on our website versus how we could be doing it. This is a really great example of using data. There's been a lot of conversations over the past 2 days about how do you convince people to trust you? How do you convince people to actually donate with you? So this is a wonderful way to use data. You have more power than you think. If you earn $60K a year, you are at the top 1% globally. This is incredible. They're using actual data to tell you, by the way, you can donate, okay? If this is your household income and you're making $100K a year, you're actually You're 92% more rich than anyone in the whole world. Giving you data that you care about to convince you that you can do this. If you donate just 10% of your income, you will still be richer than most people in the world. And they do this across everything on their website, which is incredible. And they also include dynamic social proof. They're not just saying, here's everyone that donated for us, or X amount of people have donated. Incorporating data that people care about on your website can go a really long way. So these are really great ways to actually add a lot of emotion. But I want to give you an actual copy formula that you can use, because you might be sitting here going, I get that, but I'm not really sure. Okay, so here's how you do this. Okay, you take the feature that you're trying to sell, and you add the desired outcome to it. What you're selling, what is the emotional outcome that people are going to get from it? Let me show you an example. 4-star rating and perfect score from Charity Navigator is what you're trying to say. This is what we have. Look, we're trustworthy. What is the emotional outcome that people get by knowing this? Well, I can trust this nonprofit. The money I donate will actually go to a good cause. How many of us have donated in the past and felt like, I don't really know if this is going to where they're saying it's going to go? So instead of just saying, we have 4-star rating and a perfect score from Charity Navigator, you could say, provide support to frontline workers with the fund recommended by the New York Times, Associated Press, and NPR. You're taking what you already have and you're attaching the emotional outcome. When you're trying to convince people to do employee giving, right? The end of the year's coming, we're now thinking about what do we give employees in a corporate. You could say, hey, why don't you give them the gift of giving? Okay, that's nice, but what's the emotional outcome? Well, for many managers, it's actually the idea of their team working together to help others and forming a stronger bond with each other. So you could write, connect over more than reports and business, work together to support disaster relief, increase employee loyalty, and drive higher team morale. We're telling them to donate, but we're actually making it about them. Like, this is about you. You're going to bond. You're going to be great. Your team is going to be together. Yay! It's all about connecting what you're selling with the result. And we did the same for Teamwork, which is a project management solution. And this is their comparison page, because I don't know if you know this, but people are comparing us all the time. When people go on your website, and if they've decided to donate, they're trying to figure out, should I donate here or here? What's the best place? They are comparing us. And this was the original comparison page that Teamwork had. And what we did is we did all of our research, and we figured out that most of these clients are actually client-facing. They work with clients, and they're trying to deliver client work, and they need something that speaks to them. So by creating an even longer page that had 5,000 words on it, by the way, that spoke specifically to what people cared about, that highlighted the social proof that they cared about, that talked about what other companies don't have and what they do, we were able to increase their organic conversions. And again, there's no magic here. It's not that we know things that other people don't. We just did the research. Okay, so we spoke about incorporating emotion in your messaging. How do you do it in design? Well, you need to make sure that your design is amplifying and working with your message. It's not just a standalone visual that's over there. You need to make sure that you're going beyond images, that you're thinking about the layout, you're thinking about the colors that you're choosing, you're thinking about navigation, and I'll show you a really interesting case study in a second of how you can emotionally resonate with your visuals beyond using those images I showed you at the beginning. There's more than just happy and smiley or sad faces when you're using design. Everything, every element on your page should support your message. Covenant House does an amazing job by featuring people like us. They don't actually show who they're donating to, but they're showing, people like me are out there sleeping on the streets to raise donations. Will Reynolds, I've been doing it, I think, for 15 years now. He goes out in Philadelphia and he sleeps all through the night in a sleeping bag to raise donations. It's incredible. But they're showing you, there's people like you going out there and doing it. They're showing you top fundraisers. They're showing you people like you that are out there. The choice of using images, using people that look like you that are out there donating goes a long way beyond just saying, hey, this is what we do. This is an example of Oxfam. I think it's really interesting because what they do is they take away the idea of, okay, this is what we're doing and you should believe in us. They're saying, hey, we've got a quiz for you. And they ask a series of questions of like, the billionaire who has grown their fortune the fastest, or the most cynical statement from the ultra-rich, and so on. They're giving their prospects the power to choose. At the end of this, they're going to reach the conclusion that this is a great place to donate to, that they should invest in this. But they gave them the choice first. This is another great way from Austin, Texas, of just actually amplifying your donors. Social proof and social image, right? I'm donating, oh, I'm gonna get featured on their Facebook page, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, or X, whatever we're calling it now. This is a way to amplify social image beyond just saying, you know, this is what we do, or this is how we do it. So there's great ways to do this. Navigation. So we want to leverage emotional design throughout everything that we're doing. Sometimes we think about it as just as, you know, the images that we're using. And this is a wonderful example of how we did this on navigation. On one hand, you go to a website, you're like, I need to choose between Monday.com, Asana, whatever, Reich, or Teamwork. How do I do that? We created a navigation that doesn't just tell you, okay, here are, you know, there's the overview, these are our features, these are our add-ons. We created a story in their navigation that would help different ICPs, different ideal customer profiles, go down the rabbit hole. Everything you need to know, the features you need to run client work. I'm deliberately calling out, hey, we know you do client work, this is what you care about, this is where you're gonna find that information. And teams that love us, so the actual ICP, our ideal customer profiles, can see them. Oh, I'm there, that's me, I'm a creative team, I can do that. That's really interesting, I want to read more. Or what they use us for. Here's the actual use cases. This isn't a list of features anymore. This isn't a list of what the platform does. It's here's what we do for you. Here's how you specifically, Talia, that runs an agency, could use Teamwork. And every single piece in the navigation is built around that. Okay, so let's wrap it all up in the 1 minute and 10 seconds that I have. Okay, so identify your prospects' emotions and motivations so you can meet them where they are. Make improvements to your messaging and experience that serve your donors and support your business goals. Ensure emotion is consistent throughout the entire journey, not just your hero and images. And make it about them and clearly show them how they're going to achieve their own goals through your website. Most importantly, please remember, reality sucks. It's our job to make it suck a little less. Thank you.